Good morning, everyone. It's 11 o'clock on Monday. I am here. This is the Maui Neutral Zone. I'm with Mark Beltzman. I'm Jason Schwartz. Please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. I've been around for a long, long year. So many men sold away. And I was around when Jesus Christ had his moment of doubt and pain. Made damn sure that Pilate washed his hands and sealed his face. Pleased to meet you. Hope you get my name. But what puzzling you is the nature of my game. Jason Schwartz singing Sympathy for the Devil. That is a very funny possible combination. But the truth is, that pretty well kind of sums up. People don't know what I'm doing. Why am I having all these funny different guests of all kinds? How do they all relate? It's like jump into my brain and come on out and see what's in the box of Cracker Jacks. And that's not true, because I've had guests that span from politics and homelessness and movies and God knows everything, and music and art and all kinds of issues. But when we put it all together, it spells one thing: our island of Maui, and together we can be an example to the world about all kinds of people working together and making it a better world locally, and then we'll clone it and put it out in the world. A self-sustainability model is what I've been talking about for a lot of years. Today I was supposed to have Jeff Heisel. I met Jeff Heisel, gosh knows, almost 30 years, if not 30 years ago on Maui. He and his wife, Madeir, were doing a stand-up comedy thing and an act at Casanova's. Is it still Casanova's? It's still Casanova's 30 years later. And Jeff just came back from a trip, and we were going to talk about his time, and we will, one of these weeks very soon, with Osho, Bhagwan Rajneesh in India and also in Oregon. There was something that you should watch on, it's on Netflix, I think, Wild Wild Country, that talks about, it's about 6-part deal, to give you an overview so you can better appreciate that show. There are many people from that community here on Maui. Some you know, like Nikhil Ananda, but other ones you don't know. You know, a guy named Irv Katz. You know, Larry Feinberg once said, you know, scratch a Hindu, scratch a Buddhist, find a Jew. They're all over. But the truth is...
They're called Jubus.
Jubus. I am here with a face we all know and love. A name that we all are beginning to realize. That's Mark Beltzman. He is as much of a part of our American history. If you've watched film, I mean, when I looked through his little, many of you know what IMDb is. That's an online movie thing.
Internet movie database.
So when you put Mark Beltzman in and you check out his filmography, you're looking at the first one, you say, Billy Madison. Wasn't there an Adam Sandler movie? And then you see another one, Padanowski. You can tell me.
Panofsky's Complaint.
Panofsky's Complaint. He said, well, how come I haven't seen that one? Adam Sandler wasn't in it. Maybe they didn't get the distribution. Maybe it was on a thing. Do you have a place where we can find all your stuff, Mark?
It's called the Internet.
It's all available pretty much now?
Pretty much, yeah. You can download or stream any of that stuff.
Well, Mark Beltzman is a man that...
and I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Jason.
I guess I want you to jump in all the time because I am just turned on by having someone of your tremendous talent. And
thank you.
You know, if I read your history, and I'm not reading because I can't see terribly well. You may, but
it's because your glasses are dirty.
Second City. Some people that are younger don't know.
Today is Second City's 60th birthday. Believe it or not.
Really?
Yes, today is the day. Happy birthday, Second City.
Does people know what Second City is? Anyone ever heard of Saturday Night Live? You have. But before there was a Saturday Night Live, there was a Second City.
Still is, yeah.
And that was where? Chicago?
Yes, it was a birthplace in Chicago. It was originally the Compass Players from the University of Chicago, and they became the Second City when a author named A.J. Liebling from the New Yorker magazine wrote an article about Chicago calling it the Second City to New York, and that's where they took their name in 1959. So today is the 60th birthday. There you go. And a little history lesson.
That's a great history lesson.
Yes, indeed.
Well, I know that if they started in 1960, you started in 1960 in a different way.
In 1959, Second City started. I just turned 59, so there you go.
You see, I remember a year when I was like, hey, I can be 59, but I was born but I don't know.
It's called numbers, Jason.
I just know that when I think of comedy, when I saw you, first time I saw Mark it was in person, I was sitting at the Maui Improv, little that I know, that in Kihei, they have a little theater in Azeka's Plaza.
Yeah, we used the Pro Arts Theater in the Azeka Shopping Center.
Yeah, the Pro Arts Theater, and years ago, we remember when it was a disco, but that was for us older.
Yeah.
You were young. But it was Pro Art Theater, but now has become a great haven for wonderful talent.
Oh, amazing talent here on Maui, for sure.
But now, you started, did you not? You were co-founder of the...
I was co-founder of Maui Improv 7 years ago. Actually, February will be 7 years, and been coming back and forth ever since, yeah.
So, Second City... many years ago.
Yes, I worked at Second City from 85 to 91.
Now, that was probably a fun experience. It's like, I think, a constant workshop.
Yeah, it is. Well, it's life lessons. It's the same thing we still do and continue to do in improv, and it's all stuff that you should be doing in life anyways. Make your partner look good, you look twice as good. Be in the moment. Replace thinking with listening. Just the tenets of everyday human behavior that we all should practice.
But when you film it, or an audience watches it, you become a production. So
yes.
You've been in, I'm sure, I don't think you probably counted, but you've been in many, many motion pictures. Did you do a lot of stuff on stage as well? Yeah.
A lot of movies, television, theater, musicals, improv, plays. I've done it all and love doing it, continue to do it. It's a creative source energy. We're all creative source energy, and I love dabbling in all my creative endeavors, whether it's music, I play the tuba, or act, or improvise, or perform in movies and television. I just love spreading myself.
Too thin.
Too thin, always, always.
Now, when I first heard your name was Tuba Guy.
Tubazar. Yes.
I remember.
I have a show called Tubazar where I invite other artists to come play their music. They just have to write me a tuba part to play along with them. We're going to get that going here in Maui pretty soon.
Do you do, you get them to write parts for you rather than you just sort of improv?
Right. Yeah. No, I love that. I love to read music. I can read chord charts or actual note charts, or we can just figure out what to play along together. But yeah, it's really fun show, and I get in LA, I get amazing people to come play, and I'm sure here on Maui there's a lot of talent waiting to be tapped, so I'm looking forward to that.
Well, we'll have you back here if you want to.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Would love that.
Actually, I was thinking about that. I wondered, sometimes I'm just adding my own 2 cents. You can tell me if it's true.
Well, 3 cents, but go ahead.
3 cents.
It's gone up.
Sometimes when someone's into comedy and you see them in comedy, when you see them off camera, they're very quiet and they're a very different kind of a person. They explode in front of their camera. It's like, I remember doing an interview with Lono years ago, one of our music guys and I was in a very crazy mood, bad mood. But when they hit that red button and it came on, it was like, wow.
Flip a switch. Yeah, sure.
Do you find that's true? Do you find most comedians are quiet off camera?
I think everybody's different. It depends. Some people are very shy in real life and very expressive and outgoing when they're on stage. And some people it's in the reverse. And some people are, afraid of improv but are brilliant actors. So everybody's got their little quirks and their strengths and weaknesses. But I think people is it Maya Angelou said, when somebody shows you who they are, believe them. So, on stage or off, we're all who we say we are.
Well, you say that so matter-of-factly, but I know most people aren't. To be able to come out with a statement like that, and as comfortable and calm and delivered, takes a lot to give a simple answer. You wonder what goes behind an answer. For someone to say that to me, shows me great depth. Because I've been around all kinds of people in the entertainment industry, and they all are unique. They're very unique. But
sure.
I have found that some of the people that I've spoken to off camera, they have that the wheels are grinding that you don't see on the camera. Some people are really good. I really enjoy that when I first saw you in improv. Yeah, I remembered your face because I knew I saw you in many things. Can't help it. If you go to movies, you're going to see Mark Beltzman in it. You have to look up his name, Beltzman, Mark. Look it up on IMDb, and then start going to these movies. Mo Money with Damon Wayans.
Yeah, I have a great career. I've been very fortunate to make my living as an actor in movies and television for over 40 years, and nobody knows who I am unless I tell them. So it's great. I get the best of both worlds. That's true,
isn't it? That you've had all the experience and the great experience, but you don't have to fight them off at the supermarket because they're taking pictures.
It's a double-edged sword. I mean, with more fame comes more money, but I'm perfectly happy doing what I'm doing where I'm doing it.
Yeah.
The whole key to life is to enjoy where you're at while you're there. I think that's an important lesson for all of us. We're all trying to get somewhere else, or we're all living in the past or in the future, or trying to figure out what the next move is. And the key is, Ram Dass, be here now. Enjoy the moment.
I was just going to say, we deliver the same message. That's your improv thing.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely.
And you said it earlier. You said it so, like it comes right off. If you make your partner look good, you look doubly good. So you set them up.
That's right. You want to take care of your partner first. And like any good relationship, that's the way it works, I've been married for 37 years. And
wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah. It's been a great road, and she's a great lady, and we just recently relocated here to Maui permanently, and I'm really enjoying not having to leave.
Right, you were dancing back and forth.
Yeah, just kind of turning a new leaf, a new chapter here, and I figure if I can wait by the phone and work a few times a year, I can do it from here, and there's a lot of work for me here, and Maui Improv's going really strong. Really excited about the future of Maui Improv, and if you're ever interested in coming to check it out, we have a show at Pro Arts Theater that Jason was talking about, which is in 2 weeks on the 29th, Sunday, the 29th of December.
2019.
Yes, 7 p.m. Or 6:30. I think we're going to do an improv jam. So come out to that. Come check it out.
So much fun.
Really is a good time. And we also have drop-ins. There's a drop-in every Sunday night at the synagogue in Kihei, and there's another drop-in on Wednesdays at Heritage Hall in Paia. They both start at 6:30, and you just show up and pay $15, and you can try improv out for yourself.
What great fun!
Yeah, it really is a good time.
Do you have people that get dragged there, or kicking and screaming, or you mostly have volunteers that know what they're getting into?
There's a little bit of both. I mean, mostly it's people coming of their own accord, but a lot of people, especially newbies and fresh people who've never done improv, are very trepidatious at first, and they show up and kind of want to sit in the back and not participate, and then we get them involved, and 3 hours later they're leaving with a huge smile on their face and enjoying every second of it, and then they keep coming back. It's addictive. I think for me, improv is the greatest drug in the world. I mean, I admit I like to have an occasional puff. I like to have a drink every once in a while, but nothing gets me higher than performing and doing improv and being in a room and watching people transform in just a couple hours through having fun. That's what it's all about.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it's magical.
And becomes like a family.
Yes, it's a great community, for sure.
Every time you're on a project, I'm sure it feels like that, but when people get into improv, you really, like you said about the support, you really get to experience just how powerful those simple rules are.
Yeah, it's a magical experience, and like I said, it's just life lessons. It's stuff that you should be doing. It makes you a better parent. It makes you a better coworker. It makes you a better lawyer, a better doctor. It just really it helps you evolve as a human being, no matter what you do or who you're in a relationship with. It's a powerful tool.
Maui Improv, I mean, I can't tell you how many times, it's been 7 years, where Ariel says, "It's Sunday night. Want to go?" I've never said no. I've been going for years. You should check it out. If you haven't been to Maui Improv on Sunday night, 6:30, on occasional, I don't know how you schedule them, but the 29th of this month, December.
Well, there's drop-ins every Sunday at the temple, the synagogue in Kihei. You can't. There's only one synagogue. It's Bet Shalom.
Yeah.
But except for the last Sunday of every month, there's a show. So we don't do the drop-in, but we do a perform at Pro Arts Theater, which is in the Azeka Shopping Center, right next to Taco Bell.
With many of the people that might well be in your classes.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody gets a chance to come get up on stage and show us what they learned. Yeah.
That's great. And when I looked up there, I see all these people I know. Helen. I saw Helen Kritzler up there. And
Haiku Helen. She's great. I love Helen. She's been a trooper and one of the first people that showed up on day one and has been there ever since. Like you said, it's a really solid community of people, and it's all local people, and it's just a great way to connect to the community through other means besides whatever you do for a living, or it's just a great social gathering.
And being in it is very fun. I mean, watching it is fun, but being in it is really, really
We got to get you down there, Jason. Got to come jump in one of the drop-ins and check it out.
Sure. I remember years ago, the Maui Arts and Cultural Center was still a gleam in our eye. And I'm not an oldster here. I've only been here 30 years. But I remember the fabulous Marcia Kelly. I mentioned her to you. She was the coordinator of events there at the MAC. But before that, she was the quintessential comedian and improv gal with Sally Daniels years ago. I bet if they knew you were here, we'll get them out of the closet.
Let's merge the community. one of my goals here is to cross-pollinate the acting community and the improv community, and that way we'll triple our community and support each other the best we can. There's we just need to bridge the gap, because people don't quite understand that the key element and tenet of improvisation is acting. So even if you don't want to be an actor, you can still do improv, and also it really supports the idea of acting. I've been doing movies and television for, like I said, 40 years, and nothing supports me better as an actor in front of the camera than having these improv skills and a foundation to stand on. It's really powerful stuff.
Do you find yourself jumping into every role with enthusiasm?
Oh.
I mean, when you have a role?
Sure.
I mean,
even Curb Your Enthusiasm.
I saw that little piece with Larry David. Yeah. What'd you do there?
I was in the pilot for that show. But yeah, you're enthusiastic because you're doing something you love. How fortunate are we to be able to do for a living something that we love doing? So it really never feels like work. So yeah, you're really enthusiastic about it. I mean, it's just an exciting place to be. And like I said, it's just my passion in life to be able to perform, whether it's music or comedy or improv or acting in movies and television.
Do you find you ever do voiceover kind of?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've done voiceovers, over a lot of commercial voiceovers and stuff like that, cartoons.
Is that something you can do from here? I guess you could do that almost.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, right. You can do any of that kind of stuff.
People have said, I had one guy say to me, "You should be reading books." I would listen to you reading books all day.
Sure. You have a great voice.
Maybe I get to read some books that way.
Yeah. Just put together a reel and, get yourself an agent and get yourself out there. You're missing the boat if you don't get out there and
all right.
Pursue it.
Well, maybe I'll ask you off camera where to find an agent or how to go about that. Mm-hmm. You know, it used to be things were A to B. Now with the internet, I'm not really sure what's going on.
Yeah.
You see such huge seas of numbers and people. And is it a who you know business or, they find them on the... Years ago, they talked about Schwab's drugstore. Remember the old thing about find them at the counter on Sunset Strip at the drugstore?
That's right.
And now it's like, okay, we'll find you at voiceover.com. Well, let's see. What category do you want to be? Well, we need someone to speak Western. Let's see here. Do you want a far Western or a close Western? We have 2,000 voices here. So I'm sure there's got to be a different way, right?
Well, you want to narrow it down to put yourself in the highest percentage opportunity to get a job, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when I think about reading books for a living, they want me or they want Mark Beltzman. Or someone goes, oh, I know that guy's voice.
Well, I'm a big believer in law of attraction, I don't know if any of your listeners have heard of Abraham Hicks, but it's very popular here on
if they haven't, all over. They haven't been listening.
Right.
Abraham is Esther and Jerry Hicks, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And there's a great book called Ask and It Is Given, which is like my Bible. And it just essentially is you are creative source energy and you get to create everything in your life, whether you want it or not. So I'm a firm believer in being creative source energy and you get to create it. So if you want a job reading a book in a Western voice, then you create that opportunity, get in action, start looking at the internet, find an agent, and pursue that path, and you will achieve that goal. But you have to put it out to the universe first, is what Abraham talks about, is step one. Step two is none of your business, which means you're practicing the art of allowing the universe to deliver whatever it is you're asking for. And then step three is be in a place of allowing, which means that you're in a happy place, that you're centered and you're willing to accept what it is the universe is offering. Because very often what happens if we ask for like more money, for instance, is the one thing we all want more of, and you put that out to the universe, that's great, then get out of your own way, and then you go to the store, you're on the internet, and you say, I can't afford that. Well, that's the message that you're putting out there. That's clearer than the message of you wanting is that you don't have. So that makes you unhappy, which puts you in a position of not allowing that the universe is going to deliver that to you. So that's kind of basically a Cliff Notes version of what law of attraction is and how you put that message out there, get out of your way, and then practice the art of allowing by just being in a very happy state and doing whatever makes you smile.
Did that take work to get there, or just relaxing into it over your...
Oh, it takes years and decades of practicing. It's like going to the gym, right, Jason? It's a muscle, but you can't buy membership to the gym and go bench press 250 pounds the first day you walk into the gym. And you have to get up and go to the gym. You're right. You can't sit home. It's not going to work that way. But you do go to the gym and you show up, and not maybe every day, but on a regular basis. And you start with, 2 or 5 pound weights and work your way up to 10, 20. And then eventually it could take weeks, months, maybe even years before you reach your goal of bench pressing 200 pounds. But you want to exercise that muscle. And law of attraction is no different than going to the gym and exercising that muscle with heavier and heavier weights so that you strengthen it, and then you become more proficient at just relaxing, getting out of your own way, and being in a allowing state, as they say in Abraham terms.
We are here with Mark Beltzman, actor, comedian extraordinaire like that. We are going to go to our sponsors and then come on back. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things, so please stay with us. I'm Jason Schwartz. Hang on, we'll be right back. The Neutral Zone, with me, Jason Schwartz, would like to thank Maui Arts and Music Association, Treemakers Foundation of Maui, for their support. Since 1991, with hundreds of television shows and their MauiArtsandMusic.com website, they have championed self-sustainability on Maui. The Neutral Zone is heard live Mondays at 11 a.m. and replayed Saturday at 7 a.m. on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui.
Get a jump on protecting Maui's coral reefs. No need to wait for Hawaii's new sunscreen law to go into effect. This is Archie Kalepa asking you to make the switch today to sunscreens that do not contain reef-harming oxybenzone or octanoxate. Find out about better choices at mauireefs.org/sunscreen. Sponsored with Aloha by Maui Nui Marine Resource Council, Maui Visitors Bureau, and the County of Maui Office of Economic Development. Get a jump on protecting Maui's coral reefs. No need to wait for Hawaii's new sunscreen law to go into effect. This is Archie Kalepa asking you to make the switch today to sunscreens that do not contain reef-harming oxybenzone or octanoxate. Find out about better choices at mauireefs.org/sunscreen. Sponsored with Aloha by Maui Nui Marine Resource Council, Maui Visitors Bureau, and the County of Maui Office of Economic Development.
The Grateful Dead played a different set list at every show. Since no two concerts were ever the same on stage, the same goes with the Grateful Dead radio program on KAKU 88.5 FM. Saturday night at 8 and Sunday night at 9, it's Dead Air. It's an hour of killer recordings, stories from the Tapers section, tall tales from the parking lot, and I'll throw in an interview from time to time. Hey, I'm Corey Daniels. Saturday night at 8 and Sunday night at 9, you'll get Dead Air on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui.
Hi, I'm Vince Fodi, co-host of the Biscuits and Gravy Show. KAKU is a listener-supported station. This means that all of the great programs you hear, like mine, are supported by you as well as our underwriters. If you would like to help keep the voice of Maui talking loud and clear, go to kakufm.org/donate today and give. And don't miss the Biscuits and Gravy Show, Wednesdays at 11 a.m. on 88.5 FM, the voice of gravy.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear, because for 75 years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So be careful out there. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
We are back. I'm Jason Schwartz here with Mark Beltzman.
Aloha.
This is KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui. You can find us on Facebook Live. You can also go to MauiNeutralZone.com and re-listen to this show and the other 70 before this, because, like I said, we all fit together in one very interesting, self-sustained
Petri dish
called Maui. Petri dish for sure.
Yes.
And we also can be found on YouTube, because, YouTube is like a library forever. And I think Facebook, I don't know if they have a sweep up after you die policy, but
no, they don't.
still get notifications on birthdays for people that have died a decade ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that works.
It's just a way to honor them, I guess. I I don't erase anybody's profile or phone number.
No.
I have a lot of dead people's phone numbers.
Yeah, I always wonder that when they say you have too many friends. I say, well, do we have a new category? Maybe there's a new category on Facebook.
Sure.
Dead friends. That would really thin it out.
There you go. Or for just friends that are dead to me. That's a whole nother category. That's a group you don't want to be in.
We are here with Mark Beltzman. Mark Beltzman, not only being a wonderful actor, you've seen him in many things, but he is also a wonderful and committed partner. How many years?
37 years, yeah.
37 years.
Mm-hmm.
I was all proud of 25 years with Ariel. I'm still proud of that. She's wonderful.
Well, you should be proud. It's not always easy, but it's very rewarding.
It's very rewarding, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
It's got a beautiful benefit.
Yeah, there's some amazing, magical things to a long-term relationship that you never imagined possible.
Is she involved in your acting?
Yeah, she does improv. I mean, we met through doing acting many years ago in the Detroit Times Theater Company.
Wow.
And then she got out of the business and became a marriage and family therapist. And so she's thinking about maybe hanging up a shingle here in Maui. But meanwhile, she's coming to the classes and doing improv and getting back into it.
Great.
Yeah, really fun to have her around. Beverly.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I look forward to...
Put a name on that face.
Beverly
Lubin, yes.
And you're going to see my partner, Ariel. You've seen her, but you'll see her.
Looking forward to it. Great.
Yeah. You know, in the time that we have left, we have a pretty good amount of time. I'm wondering if we would like to think to do a piece of improv now, or
I think we're doing it. We are. But go ahead. You want to set something up?
No, that's
Be my
what
guest.
I'm saying. Do you want to put something together, or you think? Because when I think of sitting with you, I mean, I know that probably people, you were in this movie and you were in that movie.
That's exactly what they sound like,
right?
Too,
and they sort of become because they all want to bring to you what you've done that really is stuck in their memory. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I probably have a greatest hits, of scenes. Your demo reel I was watching, I really enjoyed.
Oh, thank you.
Demo reel.
Yeah, you can find that online as well.
I found that.
But no, what I usually get is, "Hey, don't I know you? Did I go to high school with you?" Or they have no idea. Very occasionally, I get recognized from something I've done, but more than likely, I have to tell them they have no idea. They just think they saw me at the store, or Starbucks, or.
Well, here locally, I have been on this, I guess, media, television, and whatever, since 1992. Here locally, so I have kids that are like now 40 years old that still remember me. Some had me as a substitute teacher. Some people, the first time they've ever saw me was on TV. Then they meet me 20 years later. Jason Schwartz. It's not like a name that rolls off your tongue.
You're Jason Schwartz?
You're Jason
Holy
Schwartz.
Moly.
A lot of fun.
That's great.
I always tell Ariel, you can't sneak out to the market. You think you can sneak out to the market. And that's another thing. I have this uncanny ability. I was standing at the film festival here, and there was this very beautiful girl next to me. And I looked at her, and I immediately got, that's Olivia Wilde. And I was very respectful. But, so I'm able to find that they're, how do you feel as a star when someone is there? Do they often respectful?
Well, I wouldn't be able to answer the question, how do I feel as a star? I don't think of myself as a star, but
that's an interesting
I'm still a fan. I'm, when I see people who I recognize, I'm still as excited as anybody else, That's why I do this stuff, is because I'm a huge fan. I love watching movies. I love making movies. I love being in movies. And I love to meet people who I have a deep, profound respect for their talent and sometimes even their good looks. You never know. There's some pretty people in movies out there. But yeah, it's just fun to be part of that community as well. And I've been fortunate enough to, rub elbows with some very famous and talented people, but I don't really think of myself as a star. I don't get recognized like that. But it certainly is fun.
Well, like I say, in my world, when I saw you at the Maui Improv, I immediately spotted you as someone
cool. Thanks.
that was a star. Whenever we've seen you, whether we remembered your name or not, you created an impression that lingered in a good way.
I appreciate that.
How did you get into this stuff originally?
Well, I've played tuba. I still do. I have that show Tuba Czar I was talking about. And so when I was a kid, I was playing tuba, and it just sort of unfolded. I had my best friend from high school was named Robert Teachman, and his parents had a couple of friends who were photographers, and one of them, Charlie Schritty, asked me if he could rent my tuba for a Lazy Boy Chair magazine ad, and I said sure, and he said, "You want to be in it?" And I was like, yeah, and that was like my first acting job. Believe it or not, I actually started out as a model. Wow. And I haven't looked back since. That was like in 1980. I think I just turned 20. And then that same friend of mine, Rob Teachman, his parents had another friend named Amin Harani, who was a very famous photographer in Detroit and where I grew up. And he actually put me in my first TV commercial, which was a bunch of still photographs. I played Tony Baker, the high-low driver, drove his forklift into 400 refrigerators, and they were having a damaged goods sale at Highland Appliance. And so my picture was in the paper, and it was on TV, and that was the beginning of my career, and I haven't done anything else since. Been very fortunate.
Did you gravitate toward comedy?
Oh, yeah. I mean, being a short, fat, bald Jew.
But not as a 9-year-old.
Well, maybe not bald, but I was short and fat. Yeah, I mean, my family, there was always a lot of kibitzing at the table, and of course, all the Jewish holidays, the family would get together, and there was a lot of misbehaving, I suppose you could say, in the most polite terms here on the radio. It just sort of translated into from entertaining the family to being an entertainer, making jokes, and finding improv a valuable tool. Go ahead.
In my house, I had to protect myself. Comedy, stopped the very strong.
Well, it is. It becomes, for those of us who grew up that way in the culture, it is a defense mechanism. I find myself thwarting off many of tense situations through comedy, and also avoiding dealing with my own issues very often through comedy. So, like I said, it's always a double-edged sword, right? But for the most part, it's been a valuable tool that I've enjoyed and continue to enjoy using, just to have fun, really. I mean, that's what we're doing right now, is just talking, having fun. We've got big fat smiles on our faces, and hopefully hopefully you're smiling along with us.
Yeah, I mean, when I think of people out there in our audience, I can't imagine how they're not going to smile when they realize, when I'm sitting here, I feel like I'm sitting with someone who has had tremendous depth of experience. And that experience, the fact that you bring it into the moment the way you do, very powerful. Very powerful lessons you've shared with our audience here today.
No, well, thank you. I just
little old you.
I think we teach what we need to learn. So I'm just constantly reminding myself through my teaching, whether it's improv or having a conversation with you on the radio, of what I want to learn, how I want to become a better human being and evolve, and that's what we all strive for. I mean, you and I know each other from another source, which is sitting in the men's circle. We belong to a men's team, and it's new to me here on Maui, but that's part of what we go there for, is to be accountable, to be held accountable, and to hold other men accountable. And that's what I really love about being in a men's team. Serving.
We've had a couple of those guys on, in fact.
Yeah.
Mankind Project is a group that here on Maui I got introduced to, I guess, a couple of years ago, that I actually went through their training.
Mm-hmm.
But, like you did it in Los Angeles, different group with different name and slightly different charters, but
Right.
I don't know if men get together like women. Women are always talking and getting together in circles and seem to be a very bonding group.
Mm-hmm.
But men, sort of, this is a special thing. Like, we're going to get together and be men together. Men. What was that? I'm afraid I'm probably Mel Brooks.
Monty Python, I think,
Okay.
really.
Certain things are universal, right?
Yeah. No, it is a really valuable tool, another great community that we both belong to. And, you just function differently. Men and women, of course, we know are completely different in the way we deal with emotions. And so it allows us to have an emotional outlet where we aren't shamed or made to feel less valued because we're dealing with our emotions. I love that.
I think that translates to, if you want to cry, you can cry. If you want to be sensitive, you can be sensitive, and not be labeled in any way. We're a very accepting group. I'm sure that's probably a good model. Not only the Mankind Project, but a lot of these different groups that are around, where people share and get personal. Sometimes I wonder, in this age of internet, someone can be fluent at being on the internet, but they can't sit across and look in the eye and talk to you.
Right. Well, it's so fascinating with the advent of the internet, and people can be such bullies and have such, huge brass cojones behind a desk or behind their phone. But when it comes to actually looking somebody in the eye and having to deal with those same issues or your opinions or your emotions, all of a sudden they just hide out, they disappear right in front of you like a magic trick. And I think that has, not necessarily served us well, the advent of technology and the internet. But back in my day when I was a kid, we still had change left over from $1. Not anymore. Everything's in dollars instead of dollars and cents. But it's evolved. We're evolving, and you got to go with the flow. You can fight it all you want, but it certainly isn't going to serve you very well if you're not learning and evolving.
Well, that's another really beautiful thing about when you do improv.
Mm-hmm.
People get to be there, be present, and engage.
Well, there's two really important tenets about what I teach and about doing improv. One is, I believe that life happens outside of your comfort zone. That's where growth takes place. So doing improv is designed to get you out of your comfort zone, to get you uncomfortable. And if you're way out of your comfort zone, you're still smiling, that's where huge growth takes place. So we want you to come and grow, and that's why we can watch you transform from 6:30 to 9:30 on a Sunday evening or a Wednesday evening, and watch the smile on your face just grow throughout the evening. And you leave because you've had some kind of breakthrough or awareness that you didn't have when you arrived. The other tenet of what I teach and what I love about life and Maui Improv is figure out what's working and do more of it instead of trying to change and fix what's wrong. We all spend most of our lives trying to change and fix things so our future is better. It doesn't work. So how do you know the difference between what works and what doesn't? One makes you smile and one does not. We're all born with an internal mechanism that tells us. So you want to figure out whatever it is that makes you smile and do more of it instead of trying to change and fix the parts of your life that don't work. Because what will happen is if you nurture and grow whatever that is that makes you smile, that percentage will grow and it will eliminate or fix all the other stuff that you've been trying to change and fix for so many decades, more than likely. So those are just great 2 tenets of improv that you'll come to experience if you show up for a drop-in.
See, I was going to say Dr. Schweitzer. Doctor.
That's Mengele to you.
So that's true. It's a wonderful experience.
This is a very enriching experience for you all.
You will like it.
You will enjoy it. Yes, you will.
That's very true.
Yes.
Yes.
There's your German improv scene right there.
That was it.
Yes.
We have a peanut gallery in the outside here. They are talking. We will let them into the tunnel. This is an escape route.
Yeah.
We have a very interesting audience here, I think, at Akakuimbi and KAKU, because on radio, we're very low-power radio. So how many people see this on radio or listen? 6. Maybe. Maybe 6.
Maybe, yeah.
But we spike it. We have it. It's up on Facebook Live. We have it
That's
up there.
4 more.
So
we're up to 10 now.
We have it on our page. That's
12.
12. So, and then someday they will see our show and watch all these fantastic interviews.
30 years from now, they will be watching on the internet this interview and go, hey.
What the heck were those guys?
I remember that guy. He was in a movie I saw once.
This is very different. Can you imagine before they had things recorded like this? I mean, the true history versus what's written in the books.
Well,
now maybe we can figure out, if we get through the fake news and figure it out, what's real and what's memory.
I was just watching something the other day. I forget who said it. Was it Churchill or somebody said, history is just a series of lies agreed upon.
That's really the truth. So before it was recorded and you could see it, how did they talk about the mafia? It could have been 2 Jews having a corned beef sandwich down at
It was. You bet it was at some point. And we were just talking about, the advent of technology and all that, and it's the same idea, right? I mean, who knows how it's altered our minds and changed. I mean, they're saying the algorithms and all that stuff really has physiologically changed the wiring of your brain. Who knows?
It has. It's a different world. I had someone say to me yesterday, they were tour manager for a music group, and I was going to say 60s, 70s, 80s.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe all these decades I've been around.
Yeah.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, zeros, teens. I guess it's better than not being around for them.
Well, we wouldn't know. So
it is. I'm taking over at the college a class called Mass Media.
Oh, cool.
And they're taking us from the days of the print into now.
Mm-hmm.
And the last class they had there was called, the last movie was Citizen 4, which was the raw Edward Snowden movie, where you saw the raw footage being put together. And we all have to remember, where all this comes from, that simple old communication before there were ways of capturing, recording it, manipulated.
Yeah, could you I mean, how many times have you said to yourself, man, if they had cell phones and cameras on our cell phones when we were kids, we'd all be in prison. I mean,
that's true, isn't it?
You do when you're a kid.
What are you talking?
Yeah.
But that's sort of what happened, isn't it? Everything suddenly got recorded, and now little Johnny is suing his mother, and he wants to be expatriated. I don't know what they call it. Emancipated. That means keep sending the money, but you ain't giving me any rules.
That's right.
Because that's what that means. Well, Do you find, after doing so many movies, do you ever find that the number of plots gets reduced down? You know, when you hear about people we're studying screenplay, there are only 8 stories, and we tell them again and again and again. Do you find a common theme going on?
Well, that's why there's so many remakes, is they can't really come up with new, fresh ideas. They're remaking and rebooting everything under the sun. I guess, if you really reduce it down, it's probably everything you could possibly imagine was done either on the Jackie Gleason show or the Show of Shows, or, back in those days, Lucy episodes and Gilligan's Island and Brady Bunch. I mean, they've kind of done everything you could possibly do, and now we're just regurgitating, rehashing it, and putting it in our own words, so to speak. But yeah, there's limited amount of material. We just have to keep reinventing it, and so they say, think out of the box. So you want to think of a new way to present an old idea.
That's what they always say, isn't it? Right?
There's a great song, Second City, speaking of the 60th anniversary, called "Old Wine for New Bottles." Or the other way around, new wine for old bottles, old wine for new bottles, new lines for the old charts. It's a great song. Yeah.
What are you looking forward to? Is there anything that you're specifically looking forward to?
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to supporting the community here on Maui, the improv community and the acting community, and merging those. And we have some exciting stuff on tap for next year. And I'm told by my manager I have a movie I might be doing. It was supposed to be January. It's now been pushed to February, so I'm waiting to hear more about that, which could be a lot of fun, and I look forward to that. And I just got an agent in Honolulu. Hopefully I'll get some work on Hawaii Five-0 or Magnum PI and pop over to the other islands and spread some magic and teach some improv, and really looking forward to next year. It's going to be very exciting.
Well, I know Maui is a richer place by having you here all the time.
Oh, thank you, Jason. Appreciate that.
Just in the little time that I've gotten to know you, I appreciate you.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
And like I say, comedy on camera, but a very beautiful and sensitive man here off camera who shows, your depth. Like I say, you're a very sensitive and loving man. It just is very apparent.
Appreciate that. Mahalo, as we say here on Maui.
Well, I am. We've got a few minutes left. I really, many times I come, with things that I want to talk about with a guest, but I just know that as a seasoned actor, there's so many talented people everywhere. I bet you got to say, as much as you got talent, it's been good fortune, because it's amazing how many people are out there trying to get these few roles that we're talking about. Maui has an amazing... Have you seen many Maui productions?
Yeah, quite a few. There's a lot of talent here in Maui.
Really?
I just saw Matilda at the EOW Theater last week. It was really, really great production, directed by Jennifer Rose, and my friend John Williams was in it, and I'm really impressed with the talent here on Maui. And Pro Arts is putting together some great stuff. They have a little Christmas play coming up next week, I believe, called The Reluctant Elf, and I'm going to audition and do some stuff at those places as soon as I can.
And I'm sure you encourage everyone to get out there. There's a lot of beautiful things going on here, but Maui has some very, very talented people and shows. I know that they're going to be, if they haven't, they're going to be happy to know you're closer around here to try to grab you to be.
Let's make some Maui magic, people.
Yeah.
Love it.
So when I think of the future on Maui, I think of the future on Maui with you, more than acting, I know that I see you as really, I want to say, you're opening new doorways here, because I've seen even in the people that you get into your improv here, some of the people here that are really approaching things in a new way through your improv. When you're not here, you have others doing it, but I imagine it's just not the same without you. You really are a unique
Well, thank you. Yeah, we definitely want to just, share whatever we have to offer to support this community, and I want other people to benefit from it. I'm a huge fan of sharing. Not only the knowledge, but the wealth and everything that comes with it. It's like we should all be enjoying. And
how do people get in touch with you? What's a good way?
I'm on all the social media platforms, Twitter at Mark Beltzman and Facebook Mark Beltzman. There's a Mark Beltzman actor fan page. I have a personal page. There's Too Bizarre, Mark Beltzman of the Art of Allowing Improv page, and all of those platforms. Yeah, a lot of Facebook stuff. You can just Google my name and you'll find me on just about every social media platform there is, Instagram, and you can look at my stuff and my reel and get in touch with me and ask me about anything you want, and come check out the drop-ins. Yeah. Sundays in Kihei at the synagogue, and Wednesdays taught by Matt Brass, who's a great improviser out here on the island. And he teaches the Wednesdays up in Paia at Heritage Hall at 6:30 to 9:30 as well. And those are both just $15. Just show up, pay your $15, and enjoy
and have fun.
Life. Yes, indeed, have some fun.
Well, thank you for joining us here, Mark. I know we didn't have any specific itinerary. I appreciate you jumping in and being here on zero notice. We'll hopefully have you again, and I look forward to coming down and joining the improv.
Great.
And who knows what things we're going to be doing together.
Great, Jason. And thank you for having me. And everybody come down, check it out. Come to the show on the 29th, Pro Arts Theater, next to the Taco Bell in the Azeka Shopping Center, Sunday the 29th at 6:30.
Well, we only have a few seconds left, which is just perfect, because that's all we have enough to say. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, Mark, for joining us.
Thank you, sir.
It's been a pleasure. Hi, everyone. We're the Maui Neutral Zone, and we appreciate you. Happy holidays.
Aloha.